What's up, guys and ghouls, and welcome to another episode of Fright Mic. I am Liz.
I'm Sam.
And today, we're talking about some 3D terrors. Terror in 3D.
Holy shit, popping out at you.
Get your glasses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I actually have some 3D glasses.
I have Titanic 3D glasses.
I have my Bloody Valentine 3D glasses. It came with my DVD.
Oh my god.
I know. So sick.
Amazing.
Yep, so as the theme states, we're talking about 3D movies all month long, starting with Friday the 13th, Part 3, in 3D from 1982.
And we actually were lucky enough to see Friday the 13th, Part 3, in 3D at one of our theaters in the city.
So cool.
It was, we were trying to think I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
And it was very cool.
It was awesome.
It was wasn't it like a hard to find print or something?
Yeah, like a rare print of it.
Yeah.
I think because, like, obviously any other time I've seen this movie has just been, like, the Blu-ray.
Right.
Or whatever, DVD at home. So, it hasn't been 3D.
It's so cool to see this.
But I just love
3D.
I absolutely love the fact that they try to, like, really go out of their way to make so many things in this movie 3D. Like, they really wanted to, like, take advantage of that technology.
Yep.
Because there's just, like, things that, like, are definitely
like the baseball bat when
the baseball bat, the yo-yo. Like, I mean, it works really well for, like, a kill, when he's, like, skewering someone and, like, okay, we get the other end of it and that's awesome. But, like, just, like, random shit.
They were like, do it
the
with
guy
everything
passing
you
the
can.
joint.
Yeah. They should have made a 3D boob.
Ooh.
I
love it.
They really missed an opportunity.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also the iconic one where he gets his mask.
Yeah. The red line hockey mask.
I know. This is the third Friday the 13th movie we've covered on our podcast. We've done the first one. We've done the second one. Now we're doing 3, which is crazy. Because at one point on our Patreon, we did like a full ranking. Like we ranked personally which ones were our favorites. I feel like that was now a few years ago. I feel like both of our lists have definitely changed.
Yeah. I lost the list that I made. So I don't even know where that list is. And I couldn't, like, I'm curious to know if we did like a re-rank. Mine would obviously, I would do it blind. I wouldn't listen to like our Patreon episode.
Yeah.
I would just do it blind just to see how it compares, because I can't even, the amount of times during that episode that we were like, subject to change, to change. And like, I think even we did like last minute changes too, because I was like, I'm going to switch these.
Well, because for me, like, I think it's hard because I think Friday the 13th Part 2 feels like the most Friday the 13th-esque movie.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why, like, 2 is one of my favorites, but I just fucking love Jason X so much. Yeah. And it's obviously not, it's in space, so it's, like, not in a camp. So it's not, like, a typical camp slasher movie, but I think it's so much fun.
Yeah.
That, like, it's definitely up there.
It's the least Jason movie, but it's the most fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like has like some of the best kills. So like for me, like 2 and X are like
I know.
hand in hand.
That's so true.
And I don't remember where I put 3, honestly. I think it's probably like somewhere like kind of close to the top, but maybe middle. I'm not really sure.
I was going to say, I don't know why I feel like it's probably in the, how many movies? There's 10.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't include the remake or Freddy vs. Jason.
Mm-mm.
Right?
I don't think we included
those.
I think we included the remake. Maybe?
We did?
I don't remember, to be honest. Oh, you know what? No, never mind. We did not.
Okay. So I was going to say, damn, I don't remember now. But there's 10 total movies. If I had to guess, I probably would have ranked 3 in the front half rather than the back half.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe it does fall somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. I don't really remember.
I can't either.
We'd have to revisit that. Maybe we could do another ranking.
Yeah.
But I personally know a lot of people who love this one, and it's like their favorite. So, I mean, even with our low scores, which we're about to get into, I think that generally people like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Even though to me it also like you can tell it's not filmed in like New Jersey or whatever. It's definitely filmed in California with their little man-made lake.
Yeah.
That looks awful.
It's not great. It's not great.
Especially when they do like wide shots of it and you can tell like where it ends. But the effort was there. Well, because like what happened with the set from both 1 and then 2, I believe, it like completely burned down. So they had to basically rebuild an entire new set. Like that house was built for 3.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Damn.
But it's Higgins Haven, which is a level in the game.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm. I think this movie's a lot of fun. So the fact the scores, not our scores, just the general scores for this movie are so low. I'm like, what in the Rotten Tomato score is shocking.
Yeah, I'll get into it right now. So on IMDb, it has a 5.6 out of 10. So that's not too bad.
This one, so if you guys listened to our episode last week, I had said that a movie we were covering had 7% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it would be this one, Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Shocking.
7%.
That low?
Abysmal.
What?
Yeah.
That's like crazy to me.
My jaw hit the floor. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Not that bad.
Low. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, are we 7%? Do you know how many bad movies we've covered on here that are like 40%?
A lot worse.
30%. Yeah. Terrible.
And I think this movie has like one of the best scores of any Friday the 13th movies. It's got that like disco score.
Yeah. I do like those. You know what I do always find is hilarious about this movie though is the fact that our main girl, Chris, the fact that she's so surprised that he is still pursuing her every time, like so many times she like will fall on top of him or something, and then she like gets up and she sees him there and she's like, oh, like she has like amnesia.
Jarring.
She's running, she pauses for a second, he runs into the frame and she's like, oh, like, did you forget? Were you okay? But I mean, otherwise I think this movie is such a ball.
Well, there's like so many fake out deaths where you like think he's dead but he's not,
It keeps going.
Typical Jason things.
Mm-hmm. Just Jason things. But the movie itself, I don't think the movie part 3 actually begins until like 7 or 8 minutes in.
No, because those early ones got the recaps.
Of course. In case you hadn't seen 1 and 2 but decided to see 3, you have to know all the backstory. It's so wild. So
Which I miss Ginny, because like Ginny was the final girl from 2, and they asked her to come back, and she declined to come back. But then she unfortunately later regretted that. But she was such a badass final girl.
I know, I liked her a lot,
and I just love because like they put her in like an ambulance at the end of 2, and like we never would ever hear from her again. But then by like the end of 3, Chris is like completely insane. So it's like all these girls that do get away end up like like being carted off.
They crazy.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, that's what surviving the night will do to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's been a while since I've seen part 4. But is she in part 4?
Chris?
Yeah.
No.
Not at all?
I don't think so.
No. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
Mm-mm. No, but we do open with a random couple, Harold and Edna.
Yeah. Yeah, this is always such a random thing, too.
Yeah,
and it goes on so long.
It just adds to the body count, because there's not that... I mean, I guess there's a good amount of teens in this one. Not as many as 2, but even with 2, most of them leave the camp and go to, like, the local bar, and, like, they never come back, and so they're, like, fine.
It's amazing. I love that.
I love it so much.
He's got such... Like, I mean, it's just great. We've already talked about it.
Yeah, but... Yeah, Harold and Edna, they have like their own store. which I'm not even sure how they're still open because Harold just like eats all of the food in the store.
Yep. He's just making sure none of it expires.
Yeah. But they're like the first kills of the movie because one gets cleavered and the other one gets like a knitting needle to the neck.
Yeah. Oh man. From behind. And then we get the fucking 3D like the opening. It's so great. What did you say? It was like disco?
It is disco-y.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I like it.
It's a little boppy, you know?
Really hits.
It does. It's fun.
And then we get they call her Chris, right?
It's like Chris and her love interest Rick who meets them there, but it's Andy and Debbie who are a couple. Debbie is pregnant. And the only reason that that's important is because she mentions it so much. There's Shelly, Vera, Chuck, and Chili.
Yeah.
Our resident stoners.
Of course. I do love that scene. So, like, basically, Shelly is the... they kind of make him like the... Yeah. He's, like, not conventionally attractive. And I almost like to think he's, like, early 80s Seth Rogen type. You know, where he's, like, a little out of shape. And he's got the curly hair, and he's, like, a prankster, and he thinks he's funny or whatever. And they're going to pick up their friend Vera, who I love. Like, her mom answers the door and she's like, Vera's not going, and then goes inside and you just hear like arguing for 5 seconds and Vera's like, what? Let's fucking go. But they try to set her up with Shelly. And man, I feel bad for Shelly because I've been where he's been. I am who he is.
He uses humor as a coping mechanism for insecurities.
Yep.
Like, he is for sure like that person. No, it's not your life.
No, it is.
God,
I hide behind humor, but I mean, not like this though. Like, Shelly's just like desperate and crazy.
But they go out of their way to like tell him that he's like awful. Like, it's like, why are you friends with him then? You know?
Right.
That's like the difference here.
I think that's like the thing is, like, I've seen it in friend groups before where they keep somebody around basically to pick on them, and it's like, well, I understand if maybe you genuinely like the person, but also this person is still a person with feelings. If you pick on him all the time, it's gonna weigh on him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And that's why I think he does it, though. It's like,
yeah,
he thinks like that's the only thing he has going for him.
Yeah. So he just pranks everybody.
I mean, he ultimately is the one that gives him the mask.
That's true.
Or
we have Shelly to
provides
thank.
the mask for him to take. So, whatever.
True. And then I just love that, like, they think that the van's on fire, and it's just Chuck and Chili.
Lighten up.
Yeah, smoking in the back.
So this is like one of the biggest differences in this movie. They're just like going to like the house like on a vacation. They're not like actually counselors.
Yeah. So
like that's like a huge thing because, you know, in the first 2 movies, they're counselors.
And I think Higgins Haven, which is Chris's family's place, it's got to be somewhat near Crystal Lake, right? Or like the camp. Yeah. Because she alludes at this point in the movie to an incident that happened, what was it, 2 years ago? And so this is her first time returning, and she's a little on edge. And she's even more on edge when they first show up because she gets attacked in the cabin. Somebody kind of like chokes her a little bit, but then plants a kiss on her, and it's her boyfriend Rick. And I was like, oh.
But he's definitely 40.
He's definitely 40. He looks familiar to me in some weird way. You know who he reminds me of a little bit? This is like such a weird thing. Have you ever seen Charlotte's Web, the cartoon?
Like forever,
like the
school.
Old one, not the one with Dakota Fanning.
I think so. Probably like in school.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but he kind of reminds me of the dad from Charlotte's, or the one who's like, "You're gonna have to kill that pig," and she's like, "No, please."
Oh God.
I'm gonna have to look that up to see if my memory is correct, but I don't know. Every time I watch this, I'm like, he looks like the dad from Charlotte's Web. Oh yeah, and then there's that old guy who has the eyeball.
The harbinger of doom.
Always a harbinger of doom.
There's always one. It's not Ralph this time, though. Rest in peace.
Crazy Ralph. I'm looking up the dad from Charlotte's Web.
I think with all, like, what the other thing that makes this movie so interesting is when Vera and Shelley, so they go to the store to get like food or whatever, and they end up running into the like biker bullies. And I just like love these. I love, especially the girl. I love her outfit. It's so cute.
Oh yeah,
she's got like the leather and like the bandana. But the biker bullies are Fox, Ollie, and Loco. And they end up getting into like trouble with them over like a broken window, and basically like the gang follows them back, and they try to like siphon gas from the van so that they can't like go anywhere. But then they end up trying to like burn down the barn. But before that, Fox is like, I think they go off to play. Yeah, she goes off to play in it. And she winds up getting pitchforked to the rafters.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks, nerd.
But it's great when they find her because she's like legit hanging from it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that the dad from Charlotte's Web who I'm thinking of. It doesn't matter though.
Okay.
I just had to look it up. Enjoy the podcast, like what you hear, and you want to hear more? Well, you're in luck. We have a Patreon. That's right. If you don't know, we talk about new movies on our Patreon. We do monthly rewinds so that way you can find out what we are watching between our main episodes. Sometimes we craft spooky cocktails to match our theme of the month, and watch parties galore. So much fun over there. Head over to patreon.com/Fright Mic podcast to check that out. Again, if you want to hang out with us a little bit more, then support us over on patreon.com/Fright Mic podcast. And we'll love you forever. Okay, bye. I think that incident though in the supermarket is also kind of what makes Vera like Shelley a little bit more too.
He's a man.
Yeah, because then she's kind of like hot and cold with him for a little bit, because she's like, oh, that was so like, you were so badass or whatever. But then later on when he's trying to talk to her, she's like, it's not gonna work out. But then she feels bad for him later. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
Yeah, the whole time they're hot and cold. But yeah, like two of those guys get the pitchfork, and then for some reason one of them gets the lead pipe. Why not pitchfork all three?
I don't know.
Why not skewer all three?
Creativity.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it also helps later on in the movie.
It does.
Yeah,
because Loco's then stabbed with a pitchfork as well.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Sorry, my wrist hurts.
But Ollie just gets knocked out, so like he's not dead yet.
Yeah, but we don't know that
right
at this point.
Yeah.
I just thought, like, you just think he's dead.
And this is like so weird. So like right after this is when Chris is still talking to Rick about this like trauma, and we get this like weird flashback. I think this is like the strangest part of the whole movie. I feel actually it might have been like the strangest thing in the whole franchise is the flashback from 2 years ago, how she was just like attacked by this like hideous man, and like she kind of, it's like alluded that he might have raped her, which like apparently they were going to go like that full route and be like, yeah, like that definitely happened, but it would have taken like the whole franchise into this like dark territory and made it a lot less like fun and campy. So I don't think they like officially said that that's what it was, but it's like, I don't know, it's just like such a strange flashback sequence.
It's weird. I never really looked into it like that. But maybe it's just because I didn't pay that much attention to that. I just always thought like, oh, she was attacked, and I was trying to more so put in my mind like, okay, so is this like supposed to be directly after the events of the second one when he was like running through the woods? Because I think like this movie is supposed to take place directly after that.
Yeah, well, I think it is supposed to take place right after that, but like whatever happened to her was still 2 years ago. So
he's just been like hanging out. It's like running like a wild man through the woods.
I mean, he's been hanging out this whole time,
I guess.
Even in 2 he was just hanging out.
Yes, but in one, like, I guess that it doesn't matter because Jason is just like such a large character, but like 1, 2, and 3, like they all happen in succession, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so 1, he's not even the killer. He just like comes up at the end and is like a mangled little boy. But then this, which would have been 2 years prior, so that would have taken place during 1, this shows him as like a full-grown like man that's maybe raping people in the woods.
Yeah.
So like, interesting.
There's
it's not making sense.
Listen, there's no logic because at one point he's in space.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it really doesn't matter ultimately because he's so larger than life.
Yeah.
And once I feel like.
And he's a zombie.
Right.
Like, he gets resurrected after every movie.
At one point, his eyeball is like literally dangling out, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, he looks gross. Which, zombie Jason? Like, dirty zombie Jason?
Zombie Jason is the best Jason.
Other than Uber Jason.
Yes.
Yes.
But zombie Jason looks awesome.
He fucking looks great.
Love Jason Lives.
Even in like Freddy versus Jason.
I love Freddy versus Jason.
Good. Yeah. So like really it doesn't matter. But like I do think it's interesting that like I never
the logic of the timeline here.
Right. Well, and just the fact that they maybe possibly alluded to him being like a rapist.
Like, I think that's like a direction they were like thinking about going in, and they ultimately decided not to go because it was so dark.
Thank God. Yeah.
And that's like the thing. It's like they wanted to be like a fun, campy franchise. I think by this point they were going to make it a trilogy, and this was like going to be the last one.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So like I think from here, like they didn't want to do that because it's like, we want to love to hate Jason, you know, like we want to love it. We don't want it like to be that dark.
You're like rooting for him
but I feel
and
like,
a final girl.
But I feel like still with like the final product, they like kind of allude to that.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll have to go like, not like I'll never watch this again, but I'll pay more attention to that next time. Because I just like, I never like bought into it. I just was like, that's so weird.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Well, I'm happy that they went in the direction that they did.
Yeah.
And then it got an entire franchise.
I know. Look at him now. Larger than life.
Yeah.
Truly. Now that would have been interesting. Maybe had they done that. I hope they wouldn't have gone like dream child route. You know, where then like there's a baby involved.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Nah.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
it would have lost something, I think.
Well, and it's weird too because I don't know. Do they ever mention how long Chris is dating this guy? Because the fact that it's been 2 years since she was attacked and she's just now telling him.
I don't think they were dating. I think they were just like interested in each other.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know.
I think he was just like a love interest.
Okay. Like in this?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
They're so weird because he's like, why? Like, especially when they first get on screen together, when he does that like choke thing, which I was like, okay.
Easy.
Okay, hella. You know, he's like, oh, I'm sensing a little hot and cold here. You know, so it's like
maybe they were on and off again.
Maybe. It's like ultimately it doesn't fucking matter. It's just like it's so weird that it's like all couples.
Yeah.
And I think it's extremely weird that they mention all the time about that girl being pregnant. Because again, like what does it have to do with anything?
Right.
And
I'm wondering if it's just like to make the stakes higher or to make it more like controversial that they're killing a pregnant person. But even then I'm like, I don't know. Like there's just like some things in this one that I'm like, why? Like that specifically, the flashback. I don't know. It's weird.
Especially because they just have her walking around saying like, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
But like they don't have a big belly on her or anything. So it's like.
But what they do have is weird hammock sex.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Explain that. Well, also, let's talk about the fact that you give the pregnant woman a hammock to sleep on.
Yeah.
Are you insane?
That's the real criminal of this movie.
Yeah.
The person who decided where they were sleeping.
Exactly. And hey, like I know she's not walking around like 8 months pregnant with a big old belly, but still, man, if she is your friend at all, a hammock? Have you ever slept in a hammock?
No.
Oh my God. They're good for a solid maybe an hour.
Nap.
Yeah. A little cat nap outside. I couldn't do it's there's no support.
Yeah. And the logistics of hammock sex is just wild.
I think you just gotta kind of like
let it go.
Yeah.
Let it flow. Let it go.
Let it happen on the floor, you know? Or if you're really dedicated to the hammock situation, I think it's going to be one of those, like, you start spooning and then you just kind of like
the motion that we're making right now.
You know, you just wiggle up and down.
Just worm your way.
Yeah, you just like back it up a little bit. You know? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you smell what I'm stepping.
The motion of the ocean, man.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, but the whole trauma dumping thing was so weird, especially because they do, like, she's nervous the whole time she's there, during the day, mind you. She's like, what the hell was that? And then they're like, let's go for a drive at night and just park in the old wilderness.
They're gone like half this movie. Mm-hmm. Because it's like when they come back is when they realize like everyone is dead.
Yeah. Yeah. And like all this stuff is happening. So like basically after the 3 hooligans die, Jason is just kind of like fucking with the kids. Mm-hmm. You know, and there is like a really cool shot actually of, so like Debbie and Andy, they're down, I think they're gonna go to the beach or they're coming back from the beach. I can't remember now. I think they're coming back from the beach because she's gonna go to the house, but Jason's in the barn, I guess, and there is that cool shot of him like saying something to her as if he's gonna go in the barn, and she's like, I'm going to the house, and he's looking in the window of the barn, and we're in the barn kind of over Jason's shoulder, so we can see that he's looking at Andy, and it looks like Andy is looking at Jason, but clearly not seeing him, and then he like runs into the house. But like I do really like that shot. It is like really creepy because how many times like, you know, it's just like one of those like you look in the window never knowing like who's looking back kind of thing. Right. Always creeps me out.
It is, and especially because they don't know, like obviously they don't know what's happened yet, so it's unsuspecting.
Exactly. And then really Shelley
Vera turns Shelley down.
Yeah.
But he pranks her with the hockey mask by the lake, and so she gets like mad. And like
he's got like a harpoon gun or something.
He has a harpoon and he like goes off because he's like basically like storms off because he's mad because she got mad and whatever. So we don't see him after this right away.
Yeah.
We just see him go off. But then someone else does come back with the mask on, which is such a great scene.
Yeah.
Because Vera is in the water. Like she decides to take a swim.
She drops his wallet.
Yeah.
Because she realizes she still has it. She drops it in the water and then she like it starts to float away, so she goes to get it. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's so sad because she does like feel bad for him.
Yeah.
And she's nice enough to go get his wallet instead of being like, fuck it.
But not interested though.
Yeah. Hey, you know, you can't make a love connection.
I think this shot is really creepy because when she's like in the water, she's expecting the person that's coming back out to be Shelley because obviously he walked away with the mask on, but this like larger man comes out with it on, and the way he's like walking, it's just like really creepy, and he's got the gun in his hand, the harpoon gun, and so she is like completely like, you know, doesn't know what's going on and gets harpooned to the eyeball, and it's such a great scene.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
That's what you get for being a good person trying to get somebody's wallet.
Oh, yeah.
Just let it go, man. Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe it. The first time I watched this movie, I couldn't believe it. And yet, despite knowing that everyone's going to die except one, I was like, oh, not Vera. Not Vera. Her mom was right all along.
She shouldn't have gone.
Meanwhile, this is like Andy and
Debbie's in the shower, and Andy's like
post-coitus,
and
disgusting.
He decides to like handstand his way around in like what I would think would be like one of the, if not the best kill of this movie, the second best kill. He is walking on his hands in the hallway, and out of nowhere Jason is just standing there, fucking crotch chop.
It's amazing.
Just brings that shit down right on his nads.
Cuts him in half. From balls to navel.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And she's like, meanwhile, she's in the shower and she's like, Have you brought me where's the beer? Actually, never mind. I don't fucking want the beer anymore. And she gets in, back in the bedroom, gets in the hammock, and she is chilling with a Fangoria magazine.
Reading about Tom Savini.
And then, hold on, I wrote it down. The other thing that flashes, an article of 25 years of Godzilla. I was like,
Iconic.
damn. Yeah. 25 years of Godzilla in 1983, or 1982. Oh my
God.
That's crazy. But yeah, the Tom Savini article is funny. And then she dies in a similar-ish fashion to Kevin Bacon in the first one, which was a Tom Savini kill.
You just have to think about that. You just have to think about this kill because she gets killed from like underneath the hammock, meaning that Jason would have had to be underneath the hammock to do this. Yes. And it's like so funny to think about because she clearly walks out and lays down, but like how did he get out and like underneath without her seeing him?
Because he's fucking awesome.
It's that teleport that he's got going on.
It's true. And she like is only alerted to something being wrong because there's blood dripping from the ceiling.
Oh, it's so good. It's like pieces of him.
Yes.
It's pieces of Andy up in the rafters.
Pieces of Andy.
Pieces of Andy.
I love in movies the old blood dripping from the ceiling trope because it never fails that the blood is dripping from the ceiling, and instead of immediately like, oh shit, my nose, or like looking up, they're just like,
what the hell is that?
What the hell is this now? And they're like touching it.
Yeah.
I would be like, fuck my nose, or like,
yeah,
I'd be looking up to be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Without fail, they're always like, huh? Huh? Oh man, but yeah, she gets it from behind, which is what I had been saying this whole
time.
In a
As
hammock,
if it wasn't made clear by the million times that she said it. Right? And she really gets it wrong.
Mm-hmm. And then I think this is when what's her face, Chris and Rick come back, right?
Well, they have Chuck and Chili are still there, and Chuck.
Oh, I forgot about them already. Jesus,
he goes out to poop.
Yes. Oh my. So,
which is a really good scene because there's like he's definitely like he's in there and he hears like the noises all around him.
Yeah.
But ultimately he's okay because he goes to go check out the generator.
That's right.
Which is also in the game.
I love the poop scene with Chuck because Jason is literally just fucking with this man while he's trying to take a shit.
Yeah, he's pranking him.
Oh my god, it's so funny. He's like, let me have a little fun first.
Exactly. And speaking of pranks, while Chuck is going to fix like the generator with the power issue, Chili is in the house, and lo and behold, Shelly comes in, and he comes walking through the door holding his neck because his neck got slashed. But she thinks that he's fucking around again because he's a prankster, but he is not. But what I want to know is how long that happened forever ago.
Yeah.
Like, how is he still alive?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't ask questions. I'm sick of asking questions this movie, right? I asked too many questions about this
I'm just going to make the point that it's crazy that he's still alive after getting his neck slashed.
Well, right, because, like, is this all kind of... We know Jason teleports, right?
Yeah, like, is it happening, like, a few minutes after? I assume so, probably.
Like, by the time he slits Shelly's throat, takes his mask, takes his harpoon gun, boom, teleports to the dock, shoots her eye out, boom, teleports to the house to chop Andy from balls to fucking chin, boom, teleports under the... Like, it's so fast.
I know.
It's so
and
wild.
Nobody notices this, like, man.
Right, this giant
lurking around.
Being. Oh my god, it's amazing.
It's iconic.
Yeah. Well, then she's running around freaked out.
Yeah.
And then she starts to notice does she notice the bodies, right?
Yeah. Well, Chuck gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
And then Chili notices the bodies, but she gets a fire poker to the stomach.
Damn.
But of course, Jason being a clean king.
Well,
he cleans up the bodies.
Gotta pick up that for himself.
Because by the time Chris and Rick come back, there aren't any bodies around.
Right. And they're like, okay, guys, where the hell are you?
I just feel like Jason's always been really good at this in this franchise, is really cleaning up his dirty work, you know?
Yeah. You know, say what you will about the man, but his mother raised him right. He's gonna clean up after himself.
I feel like Michael Myers did that too especially in the first Halloween. He just like crammed all the bodies into one closet.
See, and Halloween is a franchise that I am mostly unfamiliar with.
Well, I just mean like especially the first one.
Yeah. You know what's sad? I know I've seen the first one. I don't remember that.
Aw.
I know, it's sad. And I saw the first one in the theater. You'd think
Tisk,
I'd remember.
tisk.
I know.
Yeah, well, he cleans up these bodies really well.
Yeah, it's true. True, because by the time Chris finds it, because she's like running around, she's like, okay, this isn't funny. And I don't remember, Rick like fucks off somewhere. He goes like outside or something. He goes
outside, and it's pretty cool because Jason kind of like, he attacks him, but like on the down low, because Chris like is like, you know, she opens the door to like call out to Rick, but he's not answering because Jason like kind of has him in a headlock or whatever. And
oh boy.
So he kills him, and she doesn't even know, and she's like right there.
His head like bursts open. His eyeball pops out.
That head crush with that 3D eyeball.
Yes.
Chef's kiss.
Oh damn. Rick gets it bad.
Oh yeah.
And then a
lot of eye stuff in this.
A lot of eye stuff. Maybe whoever directed this is a fan of
3D eyeballs.
Black Christmas, the remake that had yet to be made.
That's true. Inspired by.
Inspired by the 2005 remake of Black Christmas. But yes, so like I for some reason I thought it was Chili that found the bodies, but no, it's Chris that eventually finds all the bodies.
Yeah, Chris finds Loco's body, and then Jason, like, this is when Jason chucks Rick through the window.
I fucking love. I mean, like a lead balloon. This guy just like dolphins through the window.
Great.
Yes.
And so she's like, then there's like basically like their chase in the house, and that's when she finds the rest of the bodies upstairs.
Yep, in like a closet.
Yeah, and then she fights back and manages to like knock him out.
Yeah, but this, so I love because she knocks him out. She gets him in the leg.
Yeah, because she takes the knife out of Debbie.
Yes.
To stab him in the leg.
Yes, because she's kind of hiding in a closet. And this is the one gripe that I have really with Chris and this movie is just how like how almost like, not that she doesn't take it seriously, but just how stupefied she is at every turn that he's like pursuing her still, or that he's there, because she stabs him in the leg and then she goes to escape out the window, but then she like, oh no, she's like waiting in the doorway because she's looking at him and he's struggling, and he pulls the knife out of his leg and she's like, oh, and then he throws the knife at her, barely misses her head, and she's like, oh, and so then she runs to the window where she tries to jump out, but he grabs her. She's able to slip out from his grasp because she gets out of like the jacket she's wearing. She hits the ground and then is laying there on the ground, and through the window is watching him as he politely uses the stairs, and she's like, oh my god. And so then she's running, and just like, it just seems like because I think she runs into the barn now, right?
She runs to the van.
Oh, that's right, the van. Yes.
She tries to get on the van, which to drive on the bridge, but then it stalls on the bridge because they siphoned the gas out earlier.
Yes. And she's like, wait, I have reserve gas, but the bridge, which is like a POS, kind of like Evil Dead style.
Yeah.
The
already
van
collapsed.
Yeah, it's already collapsing. And he's like trying to get her through the van window, and she still is like, oh, like stupefied. Every fucking time.
Yeah.
And she gets out, then runs to the barn, and she ultimately then hides up. So she's like first hiding up on the rafter, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like koala style. And she falls on him. She falls on him, sits up, looks behind her, the man that she has fallen on, and is like, oh, like, I swear to God.
Like, every time she sees him is the first time.
It's 51st dates. But for getting away. It's just.
I think that's the thing about, like, a lot of the final girls in, like, previous and, you know, like, other, you know, like, entries into this franchise is that I feel like they're shocked the first time they see him, but they immediately are like fight response.
Yes.
You know, like fight or flight. You like, it's just like, I don't know, they're like so badass right away, whereas I feel like Chris is just kind of like, oh. Like,
yeah. She's just shocked the whole time.
Literally, just, yeah.
And she's only alive because of the unexpected help of other people.
Yeah, Ali.
Yes.
Yeah. He's alive.
Right. For a second. Because, like, that's the hard part is, so she locks herself in the barn, but he gets in, and she can't get the piece of wood out. She's, like, wedged it in too hard. And Ali, who's still in the barn, by the way, he didn't, like, wake up after being brutally attacked and be like, oh, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Nah.
He, like, hangs out in the barn.
Gets his hand cut off, too.
Yeah. And, like, this is... She's just such a dumb bitch. I'm telling you, man. Like, it's a hard watch because she just, like, runs around and she's like, oh, the whole time.
It kind of reminds me of the game.
Yeah.
Like how you're just kind of like, you hope you hit him and then you try to run, and you hope you hit him and you try to run.
Yep.
Like, just so he doesn't get you first, you know?
Right. Well, and somewhere in this chase sequence too, he pops off the hockey mask to reveal it's the guy from the woods. And I love that
he does it on purpose. He's like, remember me, bitch?
Yes, exactly. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oogie boogie.
He does it so purposely, being like, remember me?
Yes, exactly. Oh man.
Oh, it's so funny.
He's
so sassy in this one.
Yeah.
He really does have like a really good personality in this.
This is one of my favorite Jasons.
Yeah.
I will say he's
personality wise.
Exactly.
Look wise.
He got the mask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the first. But yeah,
it's just hijinks, you know?
Exactly. I love that he just is like fucking with her mostly. He's like, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so like Ali comes to her rescue because at this point she's basically like shit out of luck. But because then he's popped up to help her, he loses a hand, and then Jason's just like wailing on him, like just beating him. And then she just stands there.
Yep.
And is like, thinking like, what? He's gonna forget about you? And so I think this is when she runs up into the loft of the barn, right?
Yeah. Well, she gets him. She axes him in the head, like and it hits the mask, which that mark then stays the rest of the franchise, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, true.
That like they carry that on.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Oh shit, that's a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she ends up going into the rafters, and we think that he's dead. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Is he ever? No. But this is supposed to be a trilogy.
Right.
Maybe, you know, at the time it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And Chris just kind of like flounders. She just kind of like takes the canoe and is like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just hanging out.
But then she wakes up and she thinks that she sees Jason. She's like hallucinating.
Which is, it's a fucking great scene.
Yeah, because it's like she wakes up, it's like daytime, and she looks up at the house and she sees him in the window.
And he's so creepy.
He's so creepy because he doesn't have the mask on.
Mm-hmm. And he's looking at her with that fucking intention in his eye, you know? Like, it's so creepy. But then when she looks back, he's gone. And then we get the Mama Voorhees.
The final swampy Mama Voorhees boat shot.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to the first one.
Yep. And then you think that's over. But then it keeps going. Mm-hmm. Because the cops have arrived now.
They're carting Chris off because now she's crazy. She's like literally babbling.
Yeah. She's the next
putting her in the paddy wagon.
Yeah.
And we see Jason's body in the barn not moving.
Mm-hmm. But what does that ever really mean?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Because we've seen this man get hanged, but then he's not really dead.
Burned.
Drowned. Oh my God. Everything.
Cryogenically frozen.
Yes. Yes. Holy shit. It's like Trick or Treat.
He's been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3's a fun one.
3 is a fun one. I just love that he just keeps like the 4th one is the final chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like part 3, 3D, part 4, the final chapter, Part 5. He lives, he lives
back again.
Yeah, back
again.
Yeah. Oh man, because I think, what is it? Which one's Jason Lives?
6 is Jason Lives.
Okay, and then he decides he's gonna go on a vacation.
Yeah.
To Manhattan.
Jason takes Manhattan eventually. He goes to hell.
Jason
he goes
takes
to
a boat
space.
ride.
He meets up with Freddy.
This guy is better traveled than I.
Yeah.
He's
been through a lot.
Most well-traveled boy.
Yeah.
With the power of teleportation.
That's good.
And invincibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a good... If you think about it, it's almost a good thing the camp counselors weren't paying attention. Because look at the multiple lives this man has led since
He's
that
really
fateful
living
day.
his best by taking away the lives of everybody around him.
Some say he started living after he died.
But what's surprising is he goes back to Crystal Lake after vacationing in Manhattan. So it's he just must really love it there because he's well traveled, but he still goes back to his roots.
Right. It's like you want to play that song, I'm coming home.
Yeah.
Coming home. Tell the world They should do... Somebody should edit him going back to Crystal Lake and you just cue the piano from it's been a long day without you.
He takes the boat from the New York harbor. Sorry, one day we got to do Jason Takes Manhattan because we need to talk about the fact that this boat that gets from Crystal Lake to New York.
Let's talk about it.
We need to talk about that one day.
We got to talk about it.
I feel like eventually we will cover all of the Friday the 13th in some fashion.
Yeah.
But, this is the best way to start off the 3D moment.
I agree.
I feel like we didn't even get to point out all of the 3D things, but because there's just so many.
Yeah. We touched upon it at the beginning.
Yeah. A lot. Basically, anytime anyone gets skewered or stabbed, it comes at you.
They should have shown
and the shot
3D
lingers.
hammock sex where the swing forward comes at the screen.
Oh God, yes. Man ass in your face.
I'm just saying, man. We have the technology now.
Yeah.
We can do it.
I think that's why they filmed it in California, because they had to be close to 3D experts.
Yeah, maybe. Some say it is so.
Yeah. Well, it's funny though, because they just anything that is 3D is lingers in the shot for a few extra seconds.
Yeah, that yo-yo scene.
Yeah.
Was that real necessary?
No, but they're you know what? We got the camera. Let's use it.
Right. Hey Phil, shoot this. We need this in 3D.
We rented this thing for a day. Let's get all the 3D shots in one take.
It's so funny too. 3D really had a revival when you and I were teens working at the movie theater.
I know.
Because I feel like it was so big in the 50s, big again in the 80s, and then in the early I guess the later half of the 2000s. Mm-hmm. Because My Bloody Valentine was what, 08?
Yeah.
07, somewhere in there. And our theater had gotten 3D projectors, which were ginormous.
Huge.
And we had at first we had the reusable, washable glasses. Eventually we just got the shitty plastic ones you could throw away. Mm-hmm. But it was so wide, it was such a big thing. I think the first 3D movie we got was Journey to the Center of the Earth. Mm-hmm. With Brendan Fraser. Yeah. And then My Bloody Valentine was the second one, I think. And that one, because it was a horror movie in 3D. Yeah. That did supremely well.
It did well, and then after that, it was just kid movies in 3D.
Of course.
Or it was they would release it in 2D and 3D. But,
and you can, Titanic in 3D, the way that they did it, it was every individual hair on a rope was in 3D. Every fucking thing was in 3D. You could tell, however, the difference between movies that were shot in 3D and that were just translated to 3D. Yeah. Seeing Titanic in 3D was fucking incredible. I don't know how they did that to the technology, because I know for a fact it wasn't shot in 3D.
It was on James Cameron's dollar. That's how.
Fair enough. That shit was... I saw Titanic in 3D, I believe 3 times. Oh because God. I'm a fucking freak and a loser and I have no life. But some of the movies that were just also just put thrown in 3D.
Yeah, you could tell.
Right. Yeah.
I was never the biggest fan of 3D just because it made the movie so dark.
Yes.
That I remember seeing Tron in 3D and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything because I was like, wow, this is awful. And they made it so dark. It's not that like the things pop. I think like things popping out was fun, but it just made everything so much darker and it was so hard to see. And that's why I was like never a huge fan. So like if I had the chance to see something not in 3D, I always took that chance.
For sure. I think I ended up seeing My Bloody Valentine. I saw it in 3D.
Me too, yeah.
But it's one of those movies, kind of like Friday the 13th Part 3. For me, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Some of the kills are okay in 3D, they're fun or whatever, but it's a dark... Some parts of the movie are so dark that, like seeing it with those 3D glasses, it was like...
Yeah,
all right.
Squinting the whole time.
Yeah. Kind of like when we saw Tarot, for anyone who listened to our Tarot Patreon episode.
Hell yeah.
My God. So dark.
It was very dark.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
But yeah, so.
Oh, what are you going to rate this movie, by the way?
Friday the 13th Part 3D. This is hard. See, my Friday the 13th, because there's so many, it's hard to like think of like what, because in my head I'm going with what my ranking was or trying to remember what my ranking was. So like it's like I don't want to go too high, but I don't want to go too low. I think I'm gonna give 3D a 3 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's about where I'm at. I want to give it like a... See, I'm where you were last week. I think I'm gonna cheat and say 3.25
out of 5.
Excuse me. Yeah, because I like it.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's one of the... I shouldn't say one of the better ones, but it's like one of like my more favored ones, I suppose. But it's not great.
Yeah.
And Chris is kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't like love Chris as a final girl. I like Jason's hijinks, but he also kind of continues that in several other movies, so it's not just this one. But yeah, I don't love that you can tell it's not at a real like campground, but that's just like nitpicky, whatever.
Yeah. It's all good though.
Yeah, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
Having a good time. So let us know what you guys think about Friday the 13th Part 3 or where it stacks up in your lineup of the franchise. Hit us up in our Discord at Fright Mic Podcast or on any of our social media platforms. We're everywhere. And if you have a moment after the show and you want to give us a 5-star rating or review, we would really appreciate that. And until next time, I'm Liz.
I'm Sam.
Rest in peace.